You know, I've always loved flea markets, the thrill of the hunt, finding a hidden gem amongst piles of forgotten things. That's where I found it, buried under a stack of dusty board games. It was this incredible Victorian-style dollhouse. The craftsmanship was stunning. Intricate trim, tiny shutters that actually opened and closed. I sent a picture to my sister, and she immediately texted back, "Looks just like your place." It was a joke, but she wasn't wrong. The dollhouse's foyer was a perfect miniature of my own. The living room had the same lopsided couch I'd been meaning to replace, the same beat-up coffee table. Even the little rug was frayed in the exact same corner. I just laughed it off, completely charmed by the coincidence. I set it up on a table in my study and didn't think much more of it. The next morning, things got weird. There were miniature figures inside. I swear they weren't there before. One was sitting on the tiny couch, another at the kitchen table, and they looked like me. Tiny, painted versions wearing the same clothes I'd worn the day before. I figured I must have just missed them when I bought it. Later that day, I was clumsy and spilled coffee on my living room rug. That night, I glanced at the dollhouse. A tiny brown stain had appeared on the miniature rug, in the exact same spot. The next morning, I made a point to check the dollhouse before leaving for work. My heart nearly stopped. The little figure of me was lying on the floor, its arm bent at a bizarre angle, and there was a tiny red dot on its forehead. Panic set in. I called in sick. I spent the whole day avoiding my own living room. But that afternoon, I tripped over that same lopsided couch and slammed my head on the corner of the coffee table. A small cut opened up, blood trickling into my hair. I just stood there, laughing shakily. It had to be a coincidence. It just had to be. That night, the dollhouse changed. A new room appeared on the left side, where there had just been a solid wall. A door now opened into a small nursery, painted pale yellow, with a tiny crib inside. A doll, swaddled in a blanket, lay in the crib. I don't have a baby. I'm not planning on having one. I called my sister, trying to keep my voice steady. "You're just freaking yourself out," she said. "Get rid of the stupid thing." But I couldn't. The next day, my downstairs neighbor knocked on my door, beaming. "Guess what?" she said. "I'm pregnant." My stomach turned to ice. I ran to the study and looked inside the dollhouse. The nursery was still there, but the crib was empty. The tiny door was shut tight. A couple of nights later, another room appeared. An attic filled with tiny boxes and a miniature rocking chair that was rocking back and forth. All by itself. My phone buzzed. An unknown number. I answered, "Hello." All I heard was static, and then a whisper that sounded exactly like my own voice. "Check the attic." I looked up. My actual attic door, the one in my ceiling, was ajar, and in the dim light I could see a box rocking slowly, just like in the dollhouse. My mind was racing. The dollhouse wasn't predicting my life. It was creating it. My house was becoming the dollhouse. I had to get rid of it. I carried it down to the dumpster behind my building. As I heaved it in, something small and hard fell out and hit the pavement. It was the miniature me, lying face down, its arms splayed out. At the same time, I felt a sharp sting. I looked at my own hands. They were covered in tiny cuts, bleeding onto the concrete. I left it there and ran back inside, my hands shaking. I walked into my study, and my blood ran cold. The dollhouse was back on the table, looking pristine, its tiny lights glowing warmly. And there was another new room in the back, one I didn't recognize. It was dark, empty, and just waiting. I don't look at it anymore. I try not to even go in the